Alright, back here one more time at Firebird Lanes in Salem, Oregon for the title matches of today's JBT event. Good storylines here, probably highlighted by the scratch division where we've been waiting for this one to develop. It's been close, but we finally have it. Mary Sicard plays Bud Sicard for the scratch title. Bud coming off that brilliant, perfect 300 game in the semifinals. He's been pretty hard to beat in semifinal matches this weekend, going 289 and now 300. Today especially impressive because the lanes were flat out hard. Bud was your top qualifier after 5 games at plus 13, so barely over a 200 average. Kind of came out of nowhere, just caught a look on the previous pair. Not the same look for either bowler on this pair, as Mary has started strike open, while Bud has gone spare open. So Bud leads by 15 right now, working on that open in the third frame. To their right, it has been Planet Eddie, and we're all just living on it. Eddie Strange in his second consecutive title match today really dominated the day. He was 170 pins clear of second place after qualifying. It's tough to go into match play right after that because the pins drop, but he won 2 tough matches against Caden Cabanting and semis over Tamia Yeager to get this far. Now he's got one more tough match here against Jade Walters, who had her own sibling match as she got by her brother Caden in the semifinals to set up the difference here, and that handicap difference is 4. Eddie has to beat Jade by 4 to tie and 5 to win. A lot of experience in this title match, everybody with previous wins. Jade with 1 previous title back at Tacoma. A tough spare there, which she's unable to convert. Eddie, a 2-time champ, including 1 this season. She's also at Tacoma, right? Oh, Riverside. Riverside, yes. Bud looking to join one of our most elite clubs with his 10th career JBT title. There's only been 40 some odd in our 27-year history that have won 10 times. It's harder to do it up here because you're a little more isolated geographically from the rest of our tour, so impressive stuff. He'll get there eventually. If you don't know him, he looks like he's 20 from this camera shot, but he still plays in the U17 division, believe it or not. I don't know what they're feeding him in Casa de Sicard, but it's a big boy. Cross lane with plastic, no problem at that spare. Now back-to-back opens for Jade. That's 3 in a row, and Eddie started spare double, so big advantage for Strange. People up here know Mary really well. You do not sleep on her. She is a scratch division competitor in every sense of the word, makes way more cuts than she misses. Been dabbling in the top 4s, and this her breakthrough event with a semifinal win over Canada's Adam Jodo. There's a lot of talk about watch out for two-handed girls in a couple years. Well, I beg to differ. They're already here. Mary's one of them. Of course, Vanessa won main event last season. Bella out in Texas, finishing second in regionals. P.S. Another shout out to the JBT girls. They were in first, second, and third in the adult women's regional out in California as of yesterday. I don't know what happened today. It went Avery, Caitlin, and Kendall, 1, 2, 3. That's pretty impressive. Big split for Eddie, but that's close, but not close enough. So opens all over place on the 43-foot Earl Anthony pattern. Gave bowlers all kinds of fits. So minus 118 cut and scratch. That's an under 180 average. Make that scratch cut. Compare that with the, what was it, about 10 down in scratch yesterday? General areas. Good 1.5 to 2 mark stuff for today. If you haven't watched the rest of, wow, falling apart here in the top. If you haven't watched the other videos, Bud sliced his finger, one of the fingers he actually puts in the ball, open right in the first couple frames of the tournament today. Was able to finally patch it up after bleeding all over the high side of the center and got himself back together. That's pretty amazing that that finger is even able to function anymore. Firebird's tough house to pop out the corner pins, and as soon as you find it on one pair, it's highly likely that something like this happens on the next pair. You gotta just be on your A game all over the place in this bowling center. As Eddie's got a 5-7 to contend with over here, as both he and Jaden can't get off the schneid there either. Eddie's double in the second and the third, the only thing that's went right for either bowler so far. Big thanks to Eric Riggs and the team here at Firebird. Great hosts every year. Basically turn the key and say, here's our bowling center, tell us what you need. We love that. Well, that was the shot that was carrying for Bud in the 300 game previously, that little fallback. Let's see if Walters can get something going here. Jade has been bowling important shots for the better part of the week as Washington State Girls High School has all of their finals basically all week long. Her team finished third in her division and she was 10th individually. Of course, Kylie is a state champ again. Piper is a state champ again. There's talent all over the place here. Unable to get that. That is the buzzard Bo Burton used to call that 4 opens in a row. Nobody likes a buzzard. Tour rolls on to Palm Springs next week after 44 and rainy all week up here. That sounds pretty good. And off to Santa Fe, New Mexico. I don't know who makes up this schedule. I'm gonna talk to him about those travel points. Big shot for Mary, double working. Oh yeah! These sibling matches always have a little different dynamic. Of course, they're both highly competitive bowlers, but you know, they've probably been competitive with each other since birth. Who gets the bathroom first? Who has to do the dishes that night, you know, and all that stuff, I'm sure, is all involved. So I feel like it's sometimes tough to keep that same competitive edge that you would against everybody else. But I think Mary doesn't want it. She's on her knees for that one, trying to roll the 2-pin. Doesn't get it. Jade's got a chance at the washout and doesn't get that. So if a buzzard is 5 in a row, what's 4 in a row? What's 5 in a row? What's worse? What's a worse bird than a buzzard? What are those? A rabid seagull. How about that? Those nasty seagulls on the waterfront by Ivar's that just take your food. And, yeah, parking lot seagull. There you go. Well, Eddie and Jade continue to struggle. It's Mary that has the best look right now out of all 4 bowlers, but she only leads in her match by 20. We all know that Bud can come from out of nowhere and just start stringing strikes till the buzzards come home. So of course, Bud already is a nickname. Now another chop from Strange. Bud is a nickname, so now he's been doubly nicknamed Blood. It's a card, of course. So he's the Blood Brother and the Blood Brother. Oh man, just the wheels coming off here. This has been what it's like all day. That 300 was so out of nowhere, because this is what we have seen. Just split, 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 split. If he doesn't make that, he's going to fall behind by 30. Eddie's got 3 opens in a row, and that's got a real good chance of being 4 in a row. We're into I don't want it, you take it territory here. But instead, what does he do? We know the man can strike forever, and then he comes up with the conversion of the day with a picture-perfect 6-7. Wow. Still trails in the match, but what a momentum change that is. That was not much of a reaction from Bud. I doesn't want to show up his sister. That was a good try by Eddie as well. Let's see here. The difference is only 4 in handicap, and right now Jade trails by 7. Getting 4, so it's only a 3-pin game as neither bowler can even mark in the handicap division. Bud trails by 22 with that great spare working here in the 8th. Full capitalization on that spare with 10 back. Can Jade do anything? Yes, she can. She'll take a Brooklyn. Walters and team cheering him on, mom and the other brothers. A lot of people hanging around. Don't you all got somewhere to go? We're in Salem, Oregon, people. What do you right. Mary usually likes it when she puts that hand up, but does not get the 10 to carry this time. Yes, Jade. All of a sudden, some life sparking up here. Jade catches the double out of nowhere and takes the lead with that double. Can Eddie respond? Man, 2 just outstanding days that you got to find a way to win these last matches. Bowling is a tough game that way in many other ways. Yes, sir. Boy. All of a sudden, it just looked like we weren't going to see a spare the rest of the day. We got spares and strikes all over the place. I credit Bud for all of that. Bud got everybody going with that split conversion. Now it's a matter of performing in the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Eddie's going to be up ahead of Mary here. Oh dear. Whoa. Boy. 2 big breaks there. Eddie, the bigger break is, I had already looked down from the big 4 and something knocked out that 610. That is a giant break for Eddie. Mary could have left something a heck of a lot worse than just a 4-pin here. The best Bud can do is 197. Guess what Mary gets if she goes spare sheet? Oh, 197. So if siblings tie, do we have to do a roll-off or can we just call it good and be done with it? They are far from the first siblings to appear in title matches against each other. We have Venus versus Serena matches every once in a while. It's been a while though. So, let's regroup here. 93. Jade leads by 3 on the scoreboard. The double working. Anything can still happen in scratch. Not quite a mandatory strike. It's going to be hard for him to win without it. Shot from Walters. That's about as much time as Bud takes. Boy. Bud's body language tells the story. He thought he executed better than the result he got. That ball checked up on him about 5 feet earlier than he intended. Again, could have been way worse than a 6-pin. He must spare this and double in the 10th to make Mary show up in her 10th. Anything less, we have a female scratch champ. We have a new scratch champ. Oh, Jade misses that spare. That changes the lead over there. What a crucial 9th frame open. You gotta make the make-a-bulls because you're gonna leave some opens on this super hard pattern. But when you leave something that quote-unquote should spare, you just have to have it. And now she's going to have to claw her way back into this match, or Eddie's going to have the win. Comes back with a nice shot, but when you're on an open, it's painful. Bud must strike. Oh! Somehow, some way, Bud does strike. That was right in the 1-1 pocket. Got the old Jersey squasher there at a most opportune time to stay alive in this match. He's got 177, Mary with 9 out for 175. She has that spare, and she gets 4, so she'll finish with 143 with a strike. So any kind of decent count, Eddie will need to mark in the 10th. Nope, he gave it a little more room. The ball didn't even think about hooking. Mary Sicard's going to be a scratch champion. Well, there'll be people who didn't win, but there ain't any losers going around here as Bud shoots yet another 300 game. Mary's going to win a tournament. Jade gets the squasher. Eddie's gone about plus 6 million for the weekend, regardless of the result here. And that won't mean squat to Eddie unless he gets this spare. 9 out is 138. That won't be enough because Jade is getting the 4 pins. Virtually any spare here for Eddie to claim his 3rd career title. Oh, he gets it. He did this in West Seattle when he won the tournament too. He saved his best shots for last. And Mary Mary makes us all jump back over to the scoreboard here because we weren't thinking about a short count split. 6 was enough. 5, and Mac Reese might have fainted back clear off his chair. He couldn't believe it over there. As Mary's going to big 4 her way into the title. Eddie's the one who came up with the big strike to win the title. Lots of back and forth drama. Good news either way for the Sicard household. But congratulations, young lady. Yeah, Papa Chalmers wondering how does that happen? A hug? But yeah, what's that going on there? There we go. Well, it's got to feel good for Eddie. That would have been a hard pill to swallow. As good as Sporty is for going that far plus and not getting a win out of this weekend. So Eddie and his new 206 JBT average will be heading over to play Bud next weekend. And,
what?
Mama says, huh? Well, we will head on down to California and warm up, and we'll see this bunch at West Seattle, one of our favorite centers, in about a month and a half. Good stuff up here in Oregon.